in fact, anybody who wants to see the recording of what we did last night, here it is. And Irma, if you email us, anybody who had that similar issue, email support at theblackbusinessschool.com, support at theblackbusinessschool.com, and they will do whatever is required to make you happy again. We want everybody happy. We want you to feel good about being a part of this movement. We do not want you to feel in any way that we don't care. And so, of course, everything has to have some type of limitation, right? Because, when believe me, when you deal with a quarter million people, you get a lot of personalities, and we want to accommodate everybody. But for the most part, 99.9% of you are fair and reasonable, and we want to definitely make sure you know that we are fair and reasonable with you as well, and we want to support you in any way we can. In fact, one of the things we're doing this year is for the convention. We're going to give you. I'm going to give you a link where you can book your hotel. We're going to be at the Hyatt on the Hudson at the All Black National Convention the weekend of October 16th. And if you book your hotel through that link we share with you, which will give you a discount, then we'll actually give you free access to about $600 worth of classes in the Black Business School. There's something called the Black Wealth Boot Camp. We'll give you free access to that for life, just as kind of a thank you, because the way it helps us, just in case you want to know how these things work, is whenever you book with a hotel, they always want you. They expect you to bring a certain number of people, right? And the only way they can document that is if they book through a certain link. We make sure that the price is discounted so that our people get a lower price. And so the more that documents, the more we're sort of showing like, hey, we're here, we're present. And that makes it easier on us in terms of getting everything else paid for. So that's the reason why it becomes a win-win-win. So I'll make sure you guys get the link. I'll email it out. I'll give it out in class several times. And I hope you'll consider coming to the All Black National Convention. It's the best experience you'll ever have. I promise you. In fact, somebody mentioned in the chat if you've been to the convention before, and let folks know how great it is. That way they won't feel like this is just me making stuff up. It's really that good. All right. So anyway, let's start talking about a few things that are happening in the world. I think there's no better place to begin than to just jump back and take a field trip to my Instagram account, because a lot of times that's when I'll start sort of sharing the beginning thoughts on certain issues. And so the first thing I wanted to mention is there was something that I discussed in terms of breaking down a move that was being made by Donald Trump. Actually, he's actually giving a bunch of money to soldiers. He's giving, I think it's something like $1,776 to every man, woman, and well, there's no children, hopefully, in the military, but every man and woman in the military, every man, woman, and we have different. I guess I don't, depends on what your opinion is on how many genders there are, right? So there's non-binary as well, and basically. He's giving every single soldier $1,776. And so I was a fan of it. I said, okay, he's trying to curry favor with the soldiers, I imagine. But I personally think everybody who ever serves in the military, especially during a time of war, I think they should make $150,000 a year for the rest of their lives. I have that much respect and appreciation. But then also another thing that Trump was doing that was really interesting. It wasn't so much him; it's really kind of this conversation is putting money into the accounts of children when they're born and putting that money then into the stock market so that money can grow over the next 20, 25, 30 years for that child. I think that's a great idea. Now, here's the thing. If they do that, that's probably going to boost the stock market, because anything that increases demand for stocks is going to typically increase the price of stocks. So there's this flood of, $1 trillion more being pumped into the market. Well, if you're already there, then when those prices inflate, when that inflation happens, it'll benefit you. So getting into the market in advance before these major moves are made, I think is really beneficial. But also, as a side note, do not forget with the with Christmas coming, buy your kids stock and not just toys. That's really important. You don't just want to buy them a bunch of toys. Buy them some stock to go with the toys, because then they'll get older. They'll be able to buy whatever toy they want when they get older. Now, this was something I did last night.